Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let me cut down to the essence and teach y'all some lessons. Unexpected, non-contestants, the full court pressing. With aggression, y'all get lost in expressions. It's blood curdling, bone rattling, skill shattering. I'm unreal, spitting ill, sounding like a drill battalion. A murderer, group of crows, but you reap what you sow. Mercenaries unrivaled, I bet I won't hear a peep when you show. Things in the purse, surveying the landscape. You barely able to escape, we daring you to catch a break. The kick drum is like a war cry.
Hey guys, welcome to the lab. We're back with another episode. We are joined again by the super talented clinker, Ryan Simmons. Ryan, how are you?
I'm doing awesome. How's it going?
Going good. We have brought you back to launch a new mini segment within the Sundaze with the Clink Room universe, the masterclass. So you have come to teach some of the things that you know. Before we do that, if they haven't watched your first episode with us, I believe it was around episode 30. We're on like 80 something. So welcome back first and foremost. But tell people who aren't familiar with your work, kind of who you are and what you do.
Okay. So I started out my career in animation. My dad was a special effects animator. And this is back in the mid 90s when like big Disney boom and, you know, Beauty and the Beast, Lion King, and so other studios were opening up. So I got a job at Warner Brothers, and so I helped animate things that moved that were not the characters. So it was the special effects department. So water, fire, mud, smoke, explosions, all kinds of stuff. And a lot of it, like 70 to 80% of it was putting highlights and shadows on the characters. So I have a lot of experience with that, and we'll talk about that another time.
Yeah.
So after that, I went to DreamWorks, worked on some films there. My films I worked on in order are Cats Don't Dance, Quest for Camelot, The Iron Giant, Road to El Dorado, and Spirit, Stallion of the Cimarron. So at that point, 3D movies were taking off, and they're like, there's not really much demand for 2D. I learned how to do it on the computer with a drawing tablet. And then I ran my own website where usually you can go and get 3D models and you can download them and pose them and use them, but nobody was doing it for 2D. So I made 2D characters front, side, and back view with mouth positions, different hand positions. And I did that for like 14 years. But then the market kind of changed, and it was getting expensive to host a site, blah, blah, blah. Got a job at a game company, worked on a hand-drawn game that'll never see the light of day just because that's what happens sometimes. But and then, I found the Clink Room, I don't know how many years ago, 2019 or something like that. The very first one I saw, I was on Pinterest, and I saw one of the pins was for the Oys of Summer. And I was like, that is so cool. And that's how I found the Clink Room. And then, I just was like, I could get my design on a hat. That would be awesome. Yeah. And I did it. And then they're like, by the way, you get some of the sales. I'm like, I do? That's even better. So, and I've just been loving that. Have a fun time doing that. So I like designing. And because of my background in animation, I have some strengths and some weaknesses. So first off, I would say my weaknesses are I don't have that nice, good, thick, blocky design sense that a lot of designers have because I don't come from that background. I try to mimic it the best I can, but even I'm like, But one of the things I am really good at is posing and seeing the importance of a good pose and having it read clearly. And so because you want to show the emotion of a character, not just on their face, you want to feel it with the whole body. And so that's what I came here to talk about.
Awesome. Yeah, there was one thing that you said in our first episode. Now, correct me if I'm misremembering it, but there was something I guess that you were taught kind of early on, and it talked about having every cell or every part of the animation make it as if it's, perfect, or like picturesque, right? Like, just make sure each pose and each movement along the animation, it could be freeze framed and almost framed.
Yeah,
I think that kind of stuck with me a little bit, when you mentioned that.
yeah, it's got to be clear. And I taught animation for 9 years at the university level here in Utah. And one of the things the students would do is I would have them like storyboard out what's happening. And I said, just do it really rough. Just show me the poses. And so I'd look at one and I say, there's just two people standing here. What's going on? They go, well, this guy's yelling at this guy. And I said, but I don't see that. And they, well, I haven't drawn the face. That's how you know it'd be yelling. I'm like, no, you got the whole body. Have them be like, ah, and the other guy be like blown back or something. So yeah, don't rely on the face, use the whole body. Because that's what we do. When we're upset, we kind of pout. When we're excited, we jump up and down. So yeah. So that's a big thing that is important to me in my work.
Yeah, that was just one of those quotes that kind of stuck with me. And when I'm critiquing, I try to add that, that kind of element. But I'm excited to launch this. So the masterclass, Ryan Simmons, you are the debut inaugural episode. So before we start with the slides that you provided, do you want any last words before we start?
No, we're just going to look at some good and bad examples, and then kind of talk about what makes them, stronger, weaker. Yeah, we'll just dive into it.
All right, let's get into it. All right, first slide.
Okay. So this is from an animation book, probably the 1940s or 50s. This guy used to work at Disney. And this is all about the importance of silhouettes. So on the left, you can see this is a very clear silhouette. The idea is if you take your design and you just black it out, can you tell what's going on with it? So the example on the right, you can say, oh, looks like kind of a duck. I see an elbow, I see feet. You don't know what's going on in the middle, right? The one on the left, it's so clear. You know what animals it is. You know that there's a pinky up. It's just super clear. And I think especially with hats, when you're designing with hats, people are going to see you from far away when you're wearing your hat. Maybe the color catches it, but if they just turn around and look back, if they say, oh, that looked like a squirrel dunking a basketball. What was that? Or if they just see a colorful blob, it's got to read really, really quick. So that's kind of the emphasis, is how can we take our poses, make it really clear so that it's even more visually appealing and attractive to people when they take a look at it and go, oh, I got to buy that hat. So yeah, if we move on forward, go next, we can see an example I did. So I was tasked with creating a mascot for a hockey team. And if you just look at the silhouette, you can kind of see what's going on. You may not understand that maybe it's SpongeBob or something, but you can tell it's got arms, it's got feet. When he's got his arms up, he's holding a hockey stick. When he's gesturing, right? So if we go next, we can see the actual pose. And yeah, that's pretty much what it is. But it's very important to me to pose it out. So the guy in the bottom left, who's kind of gesturing to the side, his inner hand, which doesn't stick out as far, it was still important for me to dip it down so that you could still see around it. If I put it up high, then it might look like, he's just got one hand holding. If I do it down too low, maybe the silhouette will look like he's touching his toe or something. So even little small stuff like this, the negative space around the poses is really important. So, and then I also have next some of my hat designs that I've done. And because this is so ingrained in me, it's like if you drew a face, a head, and you left out the ears, you'd be like, where are the ears? How could you forget the ears, right? So for me, making a strong silhouette is just like that. I'm like, it has to happen. It can't be weak, So on the top left, I'm purposefully gonna put the guy on his side, and I'm gonna, make sure his little stick doesn't get lost in his face or something like that. But yeah, you can kind of see. So if we look at them next in silhouette form, you can pretty much tell what's going on. Like the bird in the middle, you might think, what is that little curly thing?
Yeah.
Is he wearing a hat or something? But you can tell it's a bird in flight with his talons out.
Yeah.
You know, that's the important thing. I really like the bottom middle with the girl on the skateboard. That one's really clear.
Super obvious. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's basically it. So it's how clear can we make it? Let's just not rely on, oh, the colors in the middle or whatever are going to help us figure it out. So that's always something I put into my work. So next, what we'll do is I pulled some logos from minor league baseball website. These are, some of them are the Marvel.
Yeah,
Marvel series.
Defenders of the Diamond.
Yes, exactly.
Which was a very interesting series because they got a bunch of animators from Marvel, but none of them seem like they're used to making hat logos. So
yeah.
So well, I guess we'll talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So with this first one, I went and I found some ones which I considered pretty bad, and then we'll work our way up to some that are better, some that could be improved. But if I look at this and you look at this, what do you think this possibly could be? I know you know what it is, but just going by the silhouette, what do you think it would be?
A kidney bean wearing a helmet. Oh
yeah,
a ferret with a tail, maybe. Like maybe
it kind of reminds me that I think it's Fraggle Rock. They have those big Muppets that are like people in suits, and they have the huge nose and the chin.
Yeah,
it could be the hair. So why don't we reveal what it actually is? See if we're close.
Not even close.
Not even close. So I think, the silhouette of the head is completely hidden, right?
Yeah.
Also, if you look, he's holding the ball in his hands, and there is a gap in between his hands and the chin, but they filled it in with pinstripes, like you're seeing the body. Even if they had removed that would have helped it.
Yeah.
But yeah, they could have opened up the arms more, created, negative space here, so that someone doesn't turn around, look at that hat, and they just see that other shape on the left and go, I don't know what that is, right? So that's one that can be improved. All right, so if we look at the next example, this one is very interesting because maybe it's like a lobster. What do you see there?
Yeah, it could be maybe a crab, maybe like a silhouette of a crab, stone crab, some type of.
Yeah, it's hard because you get no information from the top part. It's just round.
Yeah.
So you're like, is it a toupee? Is it like what is it? So let's find out what it actually is.
Rochester.
It's a bird.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm guessing it's supposed to be like armor that he's like encased in or something like that.
Yeah, kind of like maybe like a falcon, almost. He's drawn like the black falcon almost. Yeah.
And so if you look at the silhouette on the left, even the negative space helps us tell what it is. But in this one, it's like it doesn't even give you any clues what it could be, So this one, again, we could have taken the head up. We could have, I don't know. I would almost need to see what the description is for what they were going for. But yeah, this silhouette just doesn't work, basically. Yeah. So let's take a look at the next one. All right. This silhouette is bonkers, to be honest with you. What would you guess that could possibly be? Just by that shape.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe some type of like snake, maybe like a cobra.
Mm-hmm. But then there's a lot of limbs and.
Yeah, I'm just picturing it. Yeah, like just like that's the hood of the snake, and then the top is the mouth.
Yeah,
but then I don't know what the negative spaces would be. Yeah, I don't know. It's just crazy.
It kind of looks like ribbons or almost like tentacles.
Yeah,
in
maybe
some
like
places.
An octopus or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's find out what it actually is. Okay, so we're not even close.
Richmond flying squirrel.
Exactly. So this one seemed pretty easy to kind of like fix. So what I did is I went and I sketched a version that we can look at next. We can kind of compare. So I raised the top fist so it's not intersecting with the head, right? I lowered the lower fist so it's not touching the face. And then, on the original, the back, the toes are touching. That was confusing. Why not just separate those,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then it doesn't really have a cape. If you look at the bottom
Yeah, it's
arm,
kind of a sash or something.
it's like a sash that comes out of the glove.
Yeah.
So I think that was one of the things that was really confusing the silhouette. So why don't we just move him out and make him look cool, like he's kind of, flying through the air? It made sense to me anyway. So then I darkened mine and compared it. So if we go next, we can see the comparison. So there's my silhouette there. It's a little more, I mean, you're not thinking it's a snake or a octopus.
Looks like a bat almost.
What was that?
It almost looks like a bat, like a flying bat.
Yeah. It looks a little bit close. And you can see the legs, they make sense, right?
Yeah.
And so let's go next, and then we can compare the two. So it really wasn't that many changes. I didn't have to like redo the whole thing. Yeah. It was just, let's give some more air here. Let's separate things. And I think the biggest redesign was just the sash. But I mean, there's kind of a big difference there. You can say, oh, I can guess what that is on the left versus what's on the right much easier.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So let's take a look at another example. You know the logo, but if you didn't know the logo, what would you think this is?
Like a screaming lion. Kind of like a lion head here, maybe a mane, paw swiping, maybe like he's about to swipe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm almost over on the right where those lumps almost, to me, they almost look like huge lips and a chin coming out of.
Yeah, like a face here.
I don't know. So yeah, let's take a look and see what it actually is.
Eugene Emeralds.
Right. So this one is pretty good, and I can tell they want to show that perspective. But just like that very first example with the duck, he's holding everything in front of him instead of to the side.
Yeah.
So like if you look at the arm with holding the tree, if you look back at the silhouette, you don't see an arm in a tree, right? So, and also the left leg that's kind of coming towards you in silhouette, it doesn't read as a leg. Yeah. So I redesigned this one too. We can look at next. Okay. I will admit I didn't put all the little tufts of fur or whatever.
Yeah.
But I took the left leg and I changed the angle so you could see some of the foot, because that's going to help describe it way more than just a big blob. I took the hand and just moved it out a little bit, gave it some air, some space around it. Now the head was right in the center. And what I did is I just moved it just a little bit out so we could start to see the top of it. So help describe it. With the back arm, what I did is I kept pretty much the same angle of the tree, but I kind of changed the anatomy of the arm. Also, the way I drew the hand versus the way they drew the hand. The way they drew the fist is like this. Like if you make a fist like you're going to punch somebody. But
it's got to open up a little.
You can't hold anything in that. And I only know this because I made this mistake on a past logo years ago. Yeah. I had a character holding a flag, the pole, and it was like, oh, man. So I made sure on this one to open his hands up. Like they're gripped around something, right? So if we blacken my logo, we can see what I was going for. And then if we compare both of them, if we go next, we can see both of them side by side. Like I said, I didn't add the little tufts of fur over it. But what do you think? I think it's easier to tell what it is.
Yeah. I feel like this project, it was cool to see like a Marvel level artist kind of interpret like an already, designed character.
Yeah.
But I just feel like a lot of the art just fell short because a lot of this stuff, number one, wasn't like made for embroidery. Like even the digitizers were like, well, what is it? Like we can't even raise anything. They all came out flat.
Yeah.
It was such a disappointing project. Like it was cool to see them involved, and they actually ran it back this year. So they've actually done 2 years of it. But I just wish there was just a little bit more direction. Maybe Major League Baseball was so excited to be like, oh, we get to work with Marvel. We'll just take whatever they give us. But
Yeah,
I just feel like their artists weren't given, I guess, like, I mean, even like seeing something like this, it would have helped them tremendously with how they're expressing it, because they're used to either comics or maybe even shows where they get to show or use like icons that we're just so used to seeing. Like if you saw Spider-Man silhouette, you would instantly know who it was, but they had to almost create from scratch
yeah,
like characters. So
that's
it was
true.
interesting. It was interesting.
Yeah,
It's so cool that you brought this up too.
yeah.
I love
Well,
stuff like this.
it's funny because I see these type of things in the designs that are submitted to Clink, but it's not like only Clink designers make these mistakes. It
Yeah,
happens everywhere, right?
everywhere. Yeah,
So I was able to easily just go online and find some examples, right? But yeah. So this one, I don't know. It seemed obvious to me, especially if you look at that backhand in the tree.
yeah,
Mine versus the other one. The other one, you can't tell what's going on up there at all. And it was just a simple change. It's not like I had to sacrifice and go, well, in order to get a silhouette, you can't hold a tree at all. It's like, yeah, just move it out a little bit,
yeah. I feel like you almost just paused like the video and just knocked it back like 3 cells almost.
Yeah, exactly. So let's take a look at our next example. So I just kind of showed this one. This one is not far off. This one already has some good strengths to it. The arm is in silhouette. You can see the ears that kind of hint that there's a head there, so the bottom hand is good. It's out in front. But I felt like it could just be opened up a little bit more, right? So I redrew it a little bit and just kind of move that foot on our left just out a little bit, just give a little more air. And then I put the foot down. Maybe they wanted to be more squatty or up there, kind of like a Spider-Man pose. But just for this sake, I just drew it down just so we could have a clear silhouette. That's really all it needed. So if we look at the silhouette versions, you can kind of see the difference. Because almost like the one on the right, if you look at that hand going down and you follow up the arm, it almost looks like the elbow is up at the top when it's actually the knee.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's true.
It could be kind of confusing. So it was just, and I did take that arm holding the biscuit or whatever, I did kind of raise it up a little bit. Well, just keep it away because I had to raise that other knee. So, I mean, the negative space is so important in creating silhouettes. Yeah.
It makes it better for embroidery too.
Yeah.
And you have a little bit more kind of defined like space, they can kind of raise it better. If you have like a big blob, it's hard to raise like just like a big blob of something,
Yeah. So we've started with kind of really bad silhouettes, and then we're kind of working our way up, getting better so that's less changes. So if we look at the next example of the logo we found, this is a really strong silhouette. I got a problem with the silhouette. What I did notice is the sizing. I was looking at the baseball hold in the hand, and I was looking at the feet, and I'm like, why are the feet so huge?
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I think he's supposed to be like leaning back. But for me, one change was going to help that. His sash is just sitting flat across his body. So it's kind of confusing the perspective.
Yeah.
So with this last one, if you go next, I just simply redrew it to kind of help support that perspective look. And I think it sells it a little bit better.
Yeah.
The silhouette's basically the same. But I think perspective is also really important in these things. And we can also talk about how making if this one's obviously trying to be in perspective, but if you're not in perspective, you got to make sure your hands are both the right size. You don't have one leg longer than the other. one foot's drawn blocky and one's like really round and squishy, you know. That's kind of the fine tuning of it. But yeah, this one just seemed a little more obvious. And, you know, if it were me, I would have that kind of, I don't know if it's a disc or a buckle or whatever that the sash goes into, that round thing. I would have just taken the perspective up a bit more just to give it that.
Kind of angle it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Because like I said, silhouette is fine. But then when you look at it, you're like, why are his feet huge and his hands tiny? So that's basically it. You know, we can talk more about details and stuff, but yeah, what are your thoughts?
No, this is a great kind of edit to it. Like you gave him like a little bit more roundness to the body. I mean, it is kind of confusing. He's super jacked up here and kind of kind of got a BBL down here, but I mean, yeah, it's cool. This gives it more of a motion, like he's jumped back to throw, kind of like that Jeter throw almost.
Yeah,
like it creates like the effect that he's kind of jumping back, whereas this he's just kind of like levitating almost. There's no like inertia. It feels like there's no push.
It feels, the sash makes it, or the robe makes it feel static.
Yeah, like this it feels like he's actually, there's like this jump that he's doing. But yeah, definitely see what you're saying there. These are just small little edits that like seem small, but it helps you translate the idea better.
Yeah, and it's almost like if I know for me, if I draw something and I show it to another person, whether it's a family member or a friend, my mom or dad, and I go, hey, what do you think of this? And they go, yeah. Even at that little pause, it's like, well, what's wrong with it? Or if they look at it and they go, that's awesome, you know?
Yeah.
Like if somebody came to me with this, I'd be like, you trying to show perspective? What if we did the robe this way? So I think it's always good to have somebody to bounce it off of, you know? Just because sometimes we understand what we're going for, but it doesn't mean we've executed it clearly.
Right.
So yeah, and then I don't have a slide for this, but the other thing I see is when we're having a walking pose or a running pose, just remember that the arm and the leg on one side of the body are going to do the opposite. So if I got an arm coming forward, that leg on the same side is going back. Because I see a lot of designs where it's like they're both going forward, they're both going back. It's like, well, is he running or is he leaping off a building? You know, so and being an animator, you do walk cycles, and so you learn that very clearly. Because if not, there's even been a trend where people try to walk with one side doing the same thing, and like stomp, like I can't do this, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes we see that in designs too. It's just remember some of the rules. And you know, as we go into this and as we look at some of the entries, we can see, okay, what do they do well and what could be improved? And you know, it just depends. It could be little stuff like this, it could be big stuff, you know. But yeah, that's just something that's important to me, is just the power of the silhouette and the clarity of the pose.
Perfect. I appreciate you taking the time to, you know, have visuals and examples to kind of back it up. I mean, my initial pitch to you was for you to draw this live. Like, there's no way that's gonna happen. But you know, I think this is way better. This is, you know, well thought out. You put together a lesson plan for everyone to kind of go back and watch it. And I appreciate it. I hope the other clinkers appreciate it too.
Hopefully, you know, we'll see.
All right. Okay. So let's get into the meat and potatoes of the other stuff. So Clink Room had themselves a dead stock week. So for those who don't know, dead stock is leftover and canceled hats, and after they've shipped to all of the people who pre-ordered them, they'll have a small drop. This dead stock drop was a huge drop. So that it seemed like it spanned many months worth of drops. So we'll kind of ring through them real quick. We had Light 'em Up, Nightcap, Mitsubi Mashers, and Whirlpool run through. Anything stick out to you here?
Well, we could look at the Musubi one because it's got a pose.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If we were to black that out, we'd have a shape. We'd have a little thing and a little piece coming out of the top. maybe we could twist the body a little bit more, open the arms, create some negative space. I know it's too late now. I mean, the hat's out. So, but that's just where my brain is currently, you know.
For sure.
But I mean, it's good. What I do like is he's really, the fact that this is going across his face almost really shows he's just going back. He's ready to swing.
Sure.
But yeah, that's a good one. I love the what's it called, whirlpool. I just love those colors. It's pretty fun. It's a good design. Let's see, nightcap. Here's the funny thing about all these is that I now help out doing the embroidery. So I get the logo and I say, okay, here's a tree line, like on nightcap. Maybe the stitching should go down here and we can show the silhouette of the trees. So I'm very familiar with all these.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, I like nightcap. I like the perspective on that one. That was cool. And then what's the other one?
Light them up.
Yeah, that one was like pretty much done. I had to draw like 2 lines, but I like that. I like that play on the Clink logo too.
Yeah, it was so cool how it's when you get it, it's almost like an illusion of that neon bar sign. I thought that was so cool how they kind of achieved that with the colors and the embroidery.
Yeah,
that
was like perfect for raised embroidery.
Yeah, exactly. All right, moving forward, we got Star Shredder, Milk and Cookies, Attached to the Hip, and Avian Outlaw.
Yeah. So let's just think about silhouette. If I go to Avian Outlaw, I can see, because here's another thing. If you squint or you move back in your room and look at your design, you can see if it's working or not. So right now, Avian Outline, I see a strong silhouette. I see that for the popsicle one. Milk and Cookies, it's kind of a hodgepodge. And then the Star Shredder, it's pretty good. I can see the one arm out. So, but that aside, I love the colors for Star Shredder. I love the black and white colors for Attached by the Hip. And the Milk and Cookies is just fun. I love that they're like duking it out.
Yeah, they're like Ninja Turtles almost.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. These are all fun.
All right. And moving forward, we got Spooky Sheets, Sunset Cliffs, Death Beetle, which you might know a little bit about, and then Sumo Kong.
Yeah. I really like the Sunset Cliffs one. I've shown that one to my California friends who are Dodger fans as well. I'm like, you got to get this. It's Dodger blue. It's got the sunset with the palm trees. Super pretty. Let's see. Was it called Sumo Kong? This one's good. This one had a lot of detail in it. A lot of little detail for embroidery.
Yeah.
My son actually got that one. My oldest son got that one. And then what's it called? Spooky Sheets. Is that one a glow in the dark one?
Yeah. So when it glows in the dark, it becomes super angry. Like there's like a whole mouth hidden in that kind of belly area.
Yeah. I like those. I like that colorway. I like the white and the mint blue or whatever color that is.
Yeah.
I don't have anything to say about Death Beetle.
I love that one.
I overthought that one way too much since it's mine.
Yeah. No, I like it. It's like the hidden skull in it. Even the shadow almost looks like a hidden skull. And then the way that you guys were able to pull off that super raised thick embroidery on the legs, give it really almost that texture, that kind of insect texture. I thought that hat is excellent. Mine is actually on the way to me. It kept getting delayed in customs. Right now, there's a severe. I don't know if I'm on some like red list. So if Canadian Border Services, if you're listening, I'm sorry, whoever I pissed off, because everything now comes with a severe penalty.
They're just like duties. You're bringing in too many hats into Canada.
Yeah, I think I've just hit the threshold. Before recording, they delivered me 2 hats that I had to pay $32 on.
Oh my God.
That was fun. Clink Room hats too, but
wow.
But yeah, I've just been embroiled in the battle. And then we got Tidal Roar, Polar Bear, Hang Time, and Tall Boy.
Let's see. I like the Tidal Bear. Is that what it is?
Tidal Roar. It's a
Tidal Roar
dog. Yeah.
Yeah, that one I spent a lot of time doing like additional like swirls and hooking up shapes and everything, so the embroidery be really cool. And I think it turned out pretty well. It's a good design, you know.
Yeah.
the polar beer,
Mhm.
right? That's where I'm getting them mixed up. That one's just a cute design. I really like that. It's just simple and it's adorable, but it's yet beer. So it's like, hey, it's kid friendly. Well, not so much.
Yeah.
Right. And again, I love that the space theme ones have that purple. I love it. It's just great. That's a fun one too. He's dunking a ball, right?
Yeah, he's dunking like into like a black hole almost.
Yeah, yeah. I like that one. I like the kind of the, I don't know what color it is, not hot pink, but that.
It's like a magenta almost,
Yeah,
fuchsia almost.
yeah. I like that one. And the one Tall Boy's good. It's super cute. The pose is super like spot on. It's not confusing at all. So just simple and fun. That's a good one. And I like that has the side patch too. Very appropriate for it.
Yeah. I think I'm realizing now that I might have mixed 2 weeks of dead stocks in a row, but we just get more more commentary from Ryan. So I do apologize. They're probably screaming in the comments, "Stupid, you included too many," but it gives us more time to talk.
Mhm.
We got Coal Mine Canaries, High Moon, which is your hat, Prairie Storm, and then Reef Paradise.
Mhm. I'll just reverse it. Just talk about mine. That one was pretty easy because Casey was like, it's like a western, but it's on the moon,
Yeah,
and so it's a he meets an alien. So I was like, oh, so I started looking at western movie posters, and it's like, oh yeah, down there through the legs, like you're behind the guy, you know, have the hands up there, try to create a good silhouette for it. Um, let's see, Coal Mine Canaries. That's good. I feel like that pose could just be opened up a little bit more, because right now I feel like the front hand is really, really close to the head. If we
yeah,
just open up a little bit more, we can get like a stronger silhouette on that one. And then Prairie Storm, that one was super popular. That was that was really cool. I like that. I like the snow. I like that the snow like with the embroidery like sits on top of it.
yeah. It's almost
Especially
like hitting him at like a crazy angle too. Like you could really feel the storm kind of hitting the bison there.
yeah. And it's also cool that like it's good that it shows kind of the demeanor of the animal. He's just like, whatever, this is my
Just
life.
toughen it. Yeah, toughen through it.
We'd be like, get me out of here, running for
Yeah.
shelter.
I remember when you first dropped High Moon. It was around the time when the Boba Fett show was happening, and he was like battling. I don't remember the character, but he was like an alien West.
Oh yeah,
It kind of reminded me of that scene, so it was like kind of like a throwback
the
to that.
finale,
Yeah,
the show.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So that's pretty awesome.
Cad Bane.
Raphael,
Cad Bane was his name, I think.
yes, yes,
The bad
yes,
guy. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And Raphael, he's just kind of in his lane when it comes to circle slash landscape plus just a anatomically correct, perfectly drawn animal is almost like you get like a Nat Geo scene anytime he's involved. So those are always cool.
Yeah, and I love this one. I love that the fish is kind of outside, almost like
Yeah,
he's about to turn and go into
into
that
the
world.
scene, or yeah, go back into the world almost. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, I like coal mine canaries. I don't love the pinstripe, but
yeah.
I mean the whole idea of the coal mine canaries is so cool. We did a hat with Phil a couple years ago, maybe even last year. The coal mine canary or the coffin canary
Mm.
was his. He originally submitted it to Clink, and I couldn't believe it didn't get picked up, so we ended up releasing it under the capologist. So, but it's cool to see like a different kind of take on that same, thing. And it's,
Yeah,
I mean, like for those that don't know, people used to use those as the early carbon monoxide detectors and when they're mining in coal mines, which is kind of grim. So if that canary goes down, it's time to get to running. Um,
it's just when you think about that, who's the first person who was like someone obviously died, and they're like, I think there's something in the air. It's like,
yeah,
did you bring down an animal so a person dies? Like, I'll get my dog. No, not a dog. Cat.
yeah, yeah.
How
And
about
it's
because like
literally because the canary feels it first because
right?
they're so small. They're so much smaller. So
But
yeah,
they're not naturally down there. Someone had to be like,
no,
I got it. Okay.
yeah, yeah. They brought them down in the cage, and they were just part of the tools. The
Yeah, save
canary goes
lives.
down, just get to running.
Exactly.
Which is insane, by the way. But yeah, Painter Kong, Melon Masters, Crusader, and Palm Breeze.
Yes, I really like the Painter Kong. That one just had the silhouette and some drips, and so when I put the lines in for embroidery, I did these big strokes and hooked it up, so it felt like wet paint streaming down it. And that's a pretty good pose too. I like that one. Yeah, these do seem old now that I think about it.
Yeah,
that's nice.
I love how the like you just mentioned with the Painter Kong, the clink part of it. So when you originally saw the mock-up, it kind of looked like a flat, almost comic. But when you see it embroidered out, it's it's got thickness to it. It's super rigid. There's a texture. It's raised too. Even like that one came out to me very, very surprising. I didn't expect the embroidery to come out that good on that one. Moving forward, we got Snow Day, Killer Waves, Ice Lord, and Rogue.
I like the design of Ice Lord. I love the colors in Rogue. Something about that purple and that
beetroot.
Yeah, whatever that is. Yeah. It works. It really pops against
very 80s, right? I feel like kind of like 80s cartoon.
Yeah.
Kind of like G.I. Joe kind of vibe, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I have no other clothing or shirts that are that beetroot color, but it's a nice accent color, right?
Yeah, for sure. Ice Lord is just so badass. It's like the White Walker meets Punisher meets kind of Ghost Rider, turned ice. Like it's such a cool kind of character.
And it's like, how did he even come up with that? Like, it's very original. I mean, like you said, it's a conglomerate of a bunch of other things, but it's got that vibe, but it's not like, oh, that's just a copy of that whatever character. It's very original.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a cool piece. Killer Waves is cool. It's like a skull with the thing. The shark's anatomy was a little weird in the original one. It looks like they kind of fixed it for the hat to kind of make it look like it's kind of swooshing rather than like a disjointed shark. So the final product looks a lot better than I think the original submission, which is cool. Snow Day is slick.
That's a good pose too. Very clear.
Yeah. He just looks like he's having the time of his life.
Yeah.
This is a cool little 4-pack here. Departed, Komodo Holiday, Cali Squawkers, and Slingshots.
Well, then again, okay, Komodo. There's that purple in that.
yeah, it's like a theme.
Red. And I'm not mad. I love it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Squawkers. I feel like pose-wise, that could have just been opened up a little bit more, create some more negative space.
Yeah,
it would have been a clear silhouette. Let's see. Slingshots is pretty good. Maybe arms out a little bit, but I mean, overall, you can kind of tell what it is pretty quickly. And then the Komodo Holiday. I just love that tongue, that curves on that. And it's kind of coming out at you.
Yeah.
And what's the other one? Departed.
Yeah.
It's good symmetrical. Yeah, I like that one too. And anything with skulls is going to sell, right?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. All right. Flying Dutchman, Bruise Control, Rebirth, and Hat Genie.
I love the colors of Flying Dutchman. Those are just, I love that. My favorite color is blue, so any variation.
Yeah. That reminds me a little bit of the one that you did with the pirate swinging. Same kind of same kind of vibe and colorway almost.
Makes sense. Maybe that's why I like it, because I just love those colors. I've used it.
Yeah.
I do like Rebirth. That's funny. I have a hat called Rebirth, but it's completely different. It's a coincidence. But yeah, I liked it. I like that design. It's very swirly. It's pretty clear, easy to tell what it is. Yeah. And that's funny. Those two hats right next to each other are like the same colorway.
Yeah, pretty much like a old gold or tan and black. Kind of reminds me of like the old Pittsburgh Pirate hat.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what else we got. We got Wanderer, Whale Fall, Timber Tigers, and the Birds of Pride.
Yeah. Timber Tigers had a lot of leaves, and I added a lot of little like veins in the leaves and stuff. It looks so cool embroidered.
Oh yeah.
I like that one. Well, fall, of course, I love those colors, so I'm gonna like that one, and it's really well drawn as well, right?
Hmm.
And then Birds of Pride. It's a pretty good pose. And on my screen, it's really small right now, but
Yeah. Yeah.
um, wait, I can make it bigger on my screen. There we go. Yeah, I think it does actually have a clear pose. I think the red border around it makes it a little, I don't want to say unclear, but just kind of adds a thickness to it. But yeah, and then the Wanderer, I love a blue and an orange colorway. I love it like when you got the warmth of like a fire, and then you got the cool blue. I love that color combo.
Yeah. The Birds of Pride one, they based that on Mexico's run for the World Baseball Classic, which is funny. Right now, they're actually playing the Caribbean World Series. So by the time everyone watches it, we'll know if Mexico won the championship game.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
that one's real slick. I just feel like either the glove is on the wrong hand or the head is in the wrong direction. So if he's reaching back to catch it,
Yeah.
if he's not even looking at the ball, that is like super cocky. Like if you catch a ball without looking at it, that's super cocky. So either he should be like looking at catching
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
or having the glove extended to the front and the ball's coming towards him. I just feel like one of the two should have happened, but it's still a really cool hand.
Yeah. And that forward hand almost looks like the hand when you're like rearing back to throw a ball. Like it's kind
Hmm.
of that balance thing. I mean, I like how it's drawn, but
Yeah.
yeah, feel like even if they just bare minimum, I mean, maybe move the eye so it was like looking directly at the ball.
Yeah, looking to catch it. Right. I
Yeah.
mean, it's supreme skill. If you can catch the ball without looking at it, go for it. Right. But your
Well,
coach would kill you
have
if
you
you catch
watched
it.
any of the Savannah Bananas games?
Hmm. Yeah.
Those guys will be out there in the outfield and then they'll just do backflips,
Backflips.
catch
Yeah.
it as they're.
Yeah. Bounce the
It's so
ball on the
cool.
ground. Like, yeah, the coaches are probably screaming at them, but it makes it for entertainment. So
Well, actually, they now have a category called trick plays, and they just like RBIs and hits. They keep track of how many successful trick plays. So yeah, but
yeah,
that hat could fit that category. He's like, there's a no looker.
fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I didn't even consider that. That's true. All right. We got Kitana, No Really, 80s Rock, and The Watchers.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so grab that no really one like right now because Valentine's Day is around the corner.
Literally around the corner. Yeah.
It's so perfect. And yeah, I love how it's also got the shadow, so it looks like it's almost like an object sitting on the hat. Katana, that's such a strong pose. It's just good colors, good design. Everything's great about it. 80s Party, those colors are amazing. I don't wear white caps though.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, especially in the winter. It seems inappropriate. That's too happy. It's the winter.
Yeah.
Calm down. I do have some hats that are like bright fluorescent. I'm like, no, that's a summertime hat.
Exactly. Exactly. All right. Yeah, this is a good pairing. I love how they kind of piece together the super raised part of it because like I was talking about earlier, like if you have just a big block of space, they really have to kind of break it down
Yeah.
and show the embroidery to make it raised because the machine just won't be able to handle making those types of stitches. So it was like really cool how you guys kind of broke that down.
Yeah. I just thought, what if there was just like, it was just lines emanating out from the main crack, just kind of going down the side. That's how I added those. That was the idea behind that, those embroidery lines.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
We got Fan for Life, Kiaru, Frenchie U, and Splash.
Frenchie U is just super strong, and I
So good.
I love the black and the pink together.
Mhm. That hat can easily be done in multiple colors.
Yeah.
Just even thinking about universities, right? Like that have Bulldogs as their logos, right? Like Fresno,
Yeah.
Gonzaga, Georgetown,
Mhm.
Georgia. There's so many like different ones that can kind of spawn. I know those are all English Bulldogs, and this is a French Bulldog, but it'd be a cool kind of play on them for the future. for future fresh colorways.
Yeah, but then are you going to get in trouble for like pandering to those schools by making the exact color?
I don't think so. It's because those colors are so generic. I mean, you can always go one shade off, one shade darker, lighter, either way. But like Georgetown, with it just being like navy and gray, like that's just such a generic colorway, and then black and red for Georgia. I don't think those colors are unique enough for it to raise a flag. I think. Hopefully, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see.
It also has the F on the hat. So.
Yeah. Maybe Fresno, you want to stay away, right? Would it be an F? Fresno Bulldogs. But yeah, like a regular gray and navy, I think you should be good. Gonzaga's colors are navy and red. I think you should be like, those are really generic colors. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
I love the tattoos on that Kiaru.
Oh yeah,
it's so badass.
Those were cool. Pose wise, I feel like I love the elbows up and create some negative space there, because the rest of it reads really well.
Yeah, Phil's just a master at just capturing personality in his characters. For whatever reason, you just look at them and they just have, like, to me, you can just picture someone almost talking back to you. And for Fan for Life, Clifton is kind of in this kind of space where he's like this kind of like less is more artist. Like it's like almost simplified, but when you see it embroidered, it always top notch. When it comes out, super raised, super thick lines, that really helps with the embroidery, right?
Yeah. You know what I'm realizing? I think the last time I was on, like
these might have been in Critz.
Yeah, because I just wanted to say, I love how that foot is drawn in the back, and I'm like, I think I'll like come full circle.
Yeah, no, it's a perfect timing, man. Perfect timing. Yeah, you get to critique the dead stock. That's awesome. All right, and then last but not least, we got Movie Night and Range Slugger.
Yes, Movie Night's just fun. I love those colors. I love the 3D glasses. I love that the tape of the VHS looks like a little mouth with like a tooth and everything. And I like that pose on that hand. That's really good. I like that. If it were me, I would have taken the hand with the remote, moved it out a little bit, just create some air around it so it's easier to tell what it is. And then Range Slugger. I'm just thinking of the embroidery. Yeah, this is one of the first ones when I started doing this. And I just kept it all black. And then Casey was like, hey man, this is where we can have fun with the embroidery. Like you can go in. And so I think he went in and kind of put in the lines for the jaw and the other eye. And so I've learned from then, whenever a face is blacked out on one side, go in with the embroidery and kind of define it.
Show the texture.
Yeah, so it almost looks like it's dark enough, but you can still see the features in it.
Yeah. So that one, so we go back to that bad Bulldog advice. That one was actually too close to the Rangers, and they, I think, changed the colorway, right? I think
it was different colors,
a blue and red. So yeah, maybe my advice isn't so sound after all. But I ended up picking through and kind of finding my favorites from, I mean, the last ones that we reviewed. I don't even know if they're all from the same drop, but either way, Range Slugger is just an elite hat. And yeah, like what you mentioned, it having that kind of blacked out, like you guys did take the opportunity to still kind of draw it, even though it's not shown in the thing. So that also leaves cool like recolor possibilities too, because they're all different red stops. And I do love how the bats are kind of more flat, and then the face is more raised. It kind of just gives a little bit, that extra little bit of depth. In the hat. Can never go wrong with a classic green under. Frenchie U, which might be kind of the hat of the year to me. Jason just masters just that Bulldog family look, and he just recently just got a new Bulldog too, so that's pretty cool. And then this might be my favorite piece from Seamus. the tunnel roar. Just the embroidery on that. He like totally mastered no outlines. So I'm used to kind of watching like Ink Master shows where they're like pounding outline, bigger outline. And he's just like, nah, I'm cool off all of that. I'm just gonna make badass designs without any outlines.
Yeah, and the colors look so good.
So good. And they got that teal under. But those were the dead stock drop. They were still on the website, so that's kind of how I pulled them. But hopefully they are still available in your size. And then moving forward, we got the last call. These next 6 designs we'll talk about. Well, their pre-orders will end tonight, midnight Eastern, and then be sent off for production. So we got Discovery by Levi, Cyber War, and Dead End. What are your thoughts on these?
Well, let me throw this back to you, since what we've been talking about. What do you think of the silhouette on Discovery?
The silhouettes, like if we're so a lot of the clinkers have been doing this kind of trick where they've been adding an outline, but it's almost like a tonal outline.
Yeah.
So am I counting that or not counting that? Because I know it will be there for embroidery, but it doesn't really count, right?
No, don't count it.
Okay. I like the silhouette. You can kind of tell what it is.
Yeah.
Like the hand is away from the face, so you can kind of see it from afar. Both legs are kind of spread out. This leg is smaller than that leg. This hand is proportional. I don't really have any bad things to say about the pose, to be honest.
I think it's great. I think it's very clear, and I think that's probably one of the reasons it's selling well, is that you can look at it quickly and go, "Oh, I see the pose instantly," and then you can look at it again and go, "Oh, it's this big creature with this tiny little, cute insect on it." Yeah.
So then, as the embroidery guy, once you go in, you will show texture here, right? It won't just be kind of flat, right?
Yeah, so actually, I've already done that one, but I went around the elbow and I drew the other part of that, or not drew, but indicated the other part of that leg and where the chest goes down in the stomach. Yeah,
that's so cool. So cool. All right, and then what are your thoughts on the other 2? I mean, you did mention skulls will sell, so we got 2 other ones here.
Yeah, I love Cyber War. I'm a big fan of just bright colors against dark backgrounds, just high contrast. I think it's really, really fun. It's kind of like 80s, 90s colors, but it's almost feels kind of steampunkish, kind of dystopian. It's fun.
Yeah, it's like a steampunk Terminator almost, which is pretty cool. Combat helmet and everything. Yeah, it's just rad. This Dead End one always, I don't know if it's like the road kind of, or if it's like the super symmetrical part of it, but there's something always a little bit, maybe the perspective. I don't know. I like the idea. I like the concept, but something about this pose always kind of made me like wish it want more, making me want more, I think.
I think perspective wise, you've got things that are close to you or bigger, things that are far away or smaller. And I think with this smoke or fog or whatever it is, it's kind of reversed. You got the thinnest ones in the front and you got the bigger, thicker ones behind it. So even if you just kind of redid the order, it would probably feel more, like it's going off in the distance. I do really like the fangs on the skull. That's a fun, creepy twist on just a generic skull.
Maybe that's right then. It's the clouds, like leading up to, maybe he's like, because you always lose perspective as you get farther, but like he's super like clear, so maybe just having him kind of be like just back there. I don't know what it was, but it's an interesting concept for sure.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, and this is not a bad thing because it is so conceptual. If you were to put this in silhouette, nobody would ever guess that that's what it is. That somebody found sticking his tongue out or anything. But the silhouette thing really works best with human poses. It's not poses. Work with everything. Some things you can't rely on a silhouette, and then you gotta deal with different parameters.
Exactly. I do like how it's almost shaped like a club, like the
Mhm.
clubbish, almost like a spade, even. Like,
Yeah.
so there's that kind of element to it. But all right, moving forward, we got Relentless, Squeeze Me, and Blast Off.
So just start with Blast Off because it's mine. I had to go through so many iterations on this thing
Yeah,
because I'm like, I could make it look super, super reflective, but I'm like, there's no way that's going to embroider. And then there was the color element, and I worked with Casey a lot on this one. It did not come easy. But again, we got the little shadow behind it just so it feels like it's kind of, and
a
it
little more
makes
depth.
sense to do it with a balloon, you know. I really like Squeeze Me. I like the black and red hats. And I think that just everything about it is just, it's solid, it's drawn well. The I don't know, I like those colors. Colors really affect me, I'm realizing.
Yeah.
And then Relentless, I like that the shark's coming out at you. You know, it's better than the side view of a shark, or when you can change a perspective and give them something that aren't expecting, like, oh, here's a shark in water, which I just did. I'm now realizing, but with Dangerous Waters, I'm just
Yep.
going to rip my own work. But no, I like that it's coming out. I like that perspective it's at.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, this is I mean, minus the shark, this is kind of like the fun slide.
Mm.
Yeah, the Squeeze Me one is it almost looks like almost like Japanese pop artish.
Yeah.
It's pretty rad. And yeah, Blast Off was a surprise because this one went right through. It'll be cool to see how you guys pull off that metallic, almost aluminum look to this like hot air balloon, rocket ship balloon. So we'll see. Like rockets always sell well too in the clinker, anything
Yeah.
kind of just like that. So
I'm
yeah,
wondering if, like, conceptually, like, what if we got rid of the shadow and just had some clouds off in the distance, bigger and smaller, and maybe that would have been fun. Or I don't know. It's basically done. It's now like, what little things could we move around? But
mhm. Yeah. I think this is one of those when you see it, and then when you see it embroidered, people are going to be impressed. So we'll see.
yeah,
We'll see how it comes out.
hopefully.
But all right, and then they had themselves a shock drop. So beans, Clinton Kong. I have a funny backstory to it, to this hat a little bit. So we can talk about that in a second. But what are your initial thoughts on?
I absolutely love the colorway.
Mm-hmm.
It's the old, it's the Padres color, San Diego Padres as
Yeah.
well. So no surprise there. Maybe the top button. What if that was yellow?
Yeah.
I'm just evaluating everything that doesn't need to be evaluated anymore. Where my brain's at. No, I love it. I love the colors. It's great. Great. Iconic.
Yeah, I've wanted this hat since last September. And for people to be like, well, how did you know it was available last September? I didn't know it was available till now. But Casey, when I went out there and visited him in San Diego last September, was wearing this to the Padres game that we went to. So I've been having my eye on this hat for months. So I
Did
can't
he,
wait to get
did
it.
he have it made and just hasn't been sitting on the shelves until now, or did he just have a one-off?
No, so he was wearing it early, very early, I guess.
Yeah.
And I think he was saving it in case they like made a deep playoff run, and maybe do like a shock drop on the World Series. Now that the team's falling apart, he's probably just like, yeah, whatever, drop it.
Get
Yeah.
these out of my sight. I'm
Yeah.
upset.
Yeah, but he's San Diego born and raised. He told me a cool story how him and Jason used to be the mascot for the San Diego Padres in high school. So
Really?
he's a lifelong Padres fan. Yeah. So this one to me is a must-have for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see the connection there.
Yeah. But all right, cool. Let's get into the crits. So we have 20 hats that we will talk about. They will be up for voting starting Monday. So starting off with Lucky Ducks, Seamus is back with this design here.
The more I look at it, like, the more I see.
Yeah, there's so many like little hidden things in it.
But like, I didn't see the duck heads at the beginning on the edges. And then those white lines kind of remind me of antlers. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But then, huh.
It
And then
almost looks snowflake-ish.
yeah. And then, because it's symmetrical and that shape in the middle.
Yeah.
But then the inside of the shapes, when it comes down, it's all jagged. Has a lot of detail.
Yeah.
And it makes me want maybe that same level of detail on the duck heads. Or maybe they're supposed to be subtle. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's kind of a conglomerate of different shapes and ideas.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting how he went with like this kind of monochromatic green, but then I feel like the white is almost too much contrast. If you
Yeah.
wanna hang in that kind of like monotone green, I
Yeah.
would just take that white and make it like a very faint, maybe green, the lightest green you can get.
Yeah.
And kind of just keep it in that kind of clover shape. Maybe even shift it so it's not so flat. Like you can just maybe tilt it one way, and you can kind of really get it.
Hmm.
But it would totally change the art. He would have to redraw everything in perspective too. So maybe that's like a lot of work. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I don't understand the shape in the very middle.
yeah,
I don't know if we're seeing something or is it
it almost
it's
turns it into a flower almost.
yeah, that's what I thought it was when I first looked at it, and I'm like, oh, it's a flower. And then my second thought was, no, it's a cactus because I see little things on the ends.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, it's ducks. So I think it's cool. I think it's a good concept. Um, Maybe make it look more like a four-leaf clover by kind of eliminating the stuff in the center and just kind of have them touching or something.
yeah. That's cool.
Yeah,
All right,
interesting.
number 2, Beast Within. Seamus is back, and with Rusty Bees. Rusty was on the show last week, Brandon, but they're back. Kind of like a 2.0 to their original
Yeah.
Space Between. So this
Mhm.
is the Beast Within. I don't know if they're forming some long song lyric, but this is a cool little conceptual piece. What do you think here?
I like it. You know what I like? I like that as soon as I laid on eyes on it, I could see the lion shape and the birds. I could see that the birds were helping make the lion. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah,
Um, maybe eyeballs for the birds, or maybe they tried that. Maybe it distracted from the lion. Maybe 4 sets of eyes was no good. But I think some of the detail on the wings are super, super tiny for embroidery.
yeah.
I like it though. I like the blue of the eyes. It's kind of piercing.
It's cool how he's kind of like flipping like what you think a conventional hat logo is, and there's just so much negative space. Like we're almost not used to seeing that much negative space. It kind of reminds me of like those old hats that they call double whammies, where there's two, just basically just logos on a hat and then nothing in the middle.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it almost like you see it, and it worked well with the space within.
Uh-huh.
Space between or space.
One of those.
Yeah. That the embroidery came out so good, but I think part of that it would like it had like a lot of depth and like a lot of detail in the wings, but then there was a lot of simplicity around it to kind of form the shape. I almost feel like this is a little bit too much, but we'll see if it gets through. And the embroidery, I'm sure I'll change.
Yeah.
Thing, but you can almost like much like the first one. The more you look at it, you see different things. Like
Yeah.
the nose almost looks like a skull of a bull almost.
Yeah.
Like a
Yeah.
minotaur almost.
Oh, I just noticed. Maybe it's because the detail is so small. That space in between the eyes is a bird.
Is a bird. Yep.
Diving down. I didn't notice that at first.
Yeah. There's a lot of cool little tricks to it. But yeah, if they pull off those wings and just have them super textured,
Yeah.
That's gonna be so cool.
I also feel like since it's kind of monochromatic, you could do this in a lot of different colors. Like It would work like in a tan or
like a Vegas gold. Yeah.
yeah.
For
I think
sure.
it's pretty clever, and I like the pose of the claws, the talons or whatever.
Yeah, they're like kind of bowing, like
Yeah,
showing.
strong silhouette.
Yeah, perfect. All right,
Mhm.
moving forward, we got Wicked by Gabe.
That's fun. There's that purple I love in that
Purple
deep blue.
fuchsia. Yeah.
I like that. I like it because of the colors. I like it because it plays with lighting, like
Mhm.
that those rim lights under the holes in the eye sockets.
Yeah.
It's fun. Something about it feels crooked. I think it's that drip on the left. It feels like it's going down at an angle instead of straight
Yeah.
down. But I do like it. I think I do want that bone coming out on the left. I want to see a break where it goes into the skull. I don't want it looks really flat that way. It just needs that be cut right there.
Yeah. It's a little confusing to me. Are the bones just stabbed into the skull?
Oh yeah, where they come out.
Yeah. Where's the wick landing in the skull? It maybe even if you were to have like the wick coming out of the crack, maybe, and then that's where all the wax is potentially.
Yeah.
Um.
Here's my theory about when a hat has a name that kind of explains it. Because now we're like, oh, wick, candle. Oh, man,
Yeah.
he's dripping like candle. My big thing is when you wear this out in public, it's not going to say Wick Ed anywhere.
Yeah.
So people have to look at it and either A, like it, or B, get it.
Yeah.
And if they like it, but they don't get it, that's not good. I just like the overall design. I know the bones now kind of look like either ponytails or antlers to me. Not antlers, antenna, because we don't see them coming through. But I kind of like that because it kind of gets rid of that typical pirate, skull.
Jolly Roger. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I like it. I wonder if it would have been cool if like his jaw was attached and like open, like But I do. I like it. It's different. It's not. Oh, it's a play on this thing. It's like it's a candle. I wonder if it would work without the bones. It'd probably work without the bones too.
Yeah. I don't know if you need the bones.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. I like how he's kind of lit like a jack-o'-lantern too.
Yeah.
Like the fire, and then you got the eyes there.
Yeah.
It's definitely a cool piece. I like how it's not perfectly symmetrical. Although
Yes.
I'm with you, the extra drip on the left side might be a little too heavy.
Mm-hmm. I think it doesn't really read candle strongly.
Mhm.
Maybe you put the jaw on and close it, but it's like just kind of melted. So you can kind of see this thing sitting there and it's melted and it's in
It's created this pool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's on this flat plane where it's kind of, but now we're just coming down to, what's it called? Taster's choice. Like, oh, I do this, I do that. But
Yeah.
I love the colors. I love the silhouette. I love the lighting. I love that it's different. It's got a couple things that could go or be or fine, but I'm going to vote for it for sure.
Yeah. Good job, Gabe. All right, moving forward, we got Gone Bananas, Point X.
I think the fact that the irises are out and not staring at you, they're kind of going out. That's probably to make it look like it's gone bananas.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of creepy at the same time.
Yeah, he's got like a set of shark teeth too.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah. I think silhouette wise, I would have put the top of the bananas, I would have separated them so that it feels, you just see the tips of those bananas separated a little bit more. And maybe do something with the lighting because it's only just a few colors.
Yeah.
Like if you did some crazy underlit thing, he would look even more like
crazier. Yeah.
Yeah. But the bananas I would change, and whether the eyes are meant to be like that or not, but it feels crazy. But I kind of want him to look at me, but it's kind of creepy that he's not looking at me.
Yeah. Reminds me of Crazy Eyes from the Adam Sandler movie.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Number 5, batteries not included. Bringing back this nostalgic handheld game era.
I like it. Is there, okay, because I'm not really a games guy. Is this referencing like a certain game about tigers or?
No, I don't think so. I just think the old handheld machines were made by Bandai, and I think that was the mascot maybe for it.
Mm-hmm.
This is I don't think it's referencing a specific game.
Okay. I like it. I love the colors. I don't think that border is necessary. You only kind of see it near the bottom, that big thick border.
Yeah, the tonal border that
Yeah.
everyone's been playing with. I don't think it even it might go around the top hand too, but
Yeah, probably can't see it in the mock-up. Yeah,
yeah.
I really like this. I would simplify those 3 horizontal lines near the bottom of it, whether that's the speaker or whatever, because if you kind of squint, it just gets really dark and muddy.
hmm
I would just simplify those. And then the only other thing I would do is, because you've got like the buttons are really glossy, they got these highlights. And then they don't have it on the center ones. But I would love to see like a strip going across the screen to show like a glare,
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
reflective surface. But yeah, I like it.
What if it showed like a little bit more damage, like the actual tigers like fighting to break through and almost kind of ripping, like he's just ripping it out almost. Just show
Yeah.
at least a little like pressure contortion, even like you don't have to necessarily break the whole thing, but just show that it's being gripped hard.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be cool too. I almost feel like there's 2 different styles going on, or approaches. So the whatever this controller is.
No,
But,
so this is a handheld game,
yeah,
almost like a
no,
game.
the left, right, up, down. This one.
Yeah, yeah,
So if you look at it, it's got highlights, it's got shadows, and then the circle
middle
doesn't have any
buttons.
lines around it.
Yeah.
And if you look up into the center, the 3 buttons don't have any highlights, and then that blue shape has a black border. So it's like, since it's so line heavy, it's like get rid of that black border. Like choose one way or the other and apply it to all of them. And I do understand that technically the 3 center buttons are more of a rubbery material, so they probably
Yeah.
wouldn't have but I think style wise, but I think it's great. And now we're just kind of fine tuning.
We're nitpicking it, yeah.
Yeah. But I like it. I like it
It's
a
a
lot.
rad piece for sure.
Mhm.
All right. Elemental.
Ooh, I like it. It's got good lighting, good silhouette, good drippage at the bottom. They're all going straight down.
Mhm.
What do you think?
It reminds me a little of Milos's kind of Tree of Life.
Yeah.
I almost wish it broke the circle more, and the circle was more of like an accent rather than something kind of holding in the tree, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
The hot kind of wavy thing, like the wavy background, kind of steamy hot, that is kind of confusing to me.
Yeah.
The circle kind of just abruptly end. I don't know. I feel like the tree needs to be pushed way forward almost, and then the background kind of be like an accent. If
Yeah.
that makes any sense.
Uh-huh.
But
I don't know if you actually need that border all around it.
Yeah.
Like the black border is good, but I don't know if you need the other one.
Yeah, because that one kind of like the outside border kind of just gets in the way of the leaves almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. So elemental. Yeah, there's some tiny details on that. If you go up the trunk, that first branch that shoots off on the left, there's a lot of teeny things that could probably be simplified for embroidery's sake. But yeah, I like it. And I like the idea that if you took the circle and just kind of took it in a little bit so that the tree hung over more.
Yeah.
But I like the colors. I thought you called it like the steam. I thought it was, I saw like a river of blood. I don't know why I saw that.
Okay.
Which
Yeah, I mean, it could look like a path to something too, potentially. But to me, like it reads as steam, so it's like this kind of steam is making everything melt.
Yeah.
Kind of.
But then it really feels like the steam was designed and then just squished.
Yeah.
But I like a lot of things in this.
Yeah. It kind of feels painterly, like this was like an abstract painting.
Yeah. It's got good colors, and yeah, I don't know if it's strong enough. Does it need a +1? Is the +1 that there's stuff running off the edges, or yeah, I don't know, but I like it.
All right, cool. I almost feel like I would almost expect him to hide a skull here somewhere in the drip, but it's not there. But all right, number 7, future in hand.
Awesome. Totally awesome. I love the colors. I love the colorway. I love that pink on the bottom is kind of like a underlit thing. It's really cool. I wonder what it looks like without the design in the back with the lines.
The circuitry, yeah.
Yeah. Because it definitely makes it taller, which means the whole thing's going to get shrunk down.
Yeah, I'm with you. You don't need that. Maybe you can find a way to kind of put these kind of lines within the design, maybe somehow make it a little bit more kind of biotech. Yeah,
I think scale wise, the hand is so big compared to the skull. It's like, is that a child's skull or?
yeah.
But maybe you could scale the skull up and then just take that thumb and like push it up in order to make room for it to get bigger. But again, we're nitpicking now. I like it a lot. Yeah, I feel like the back pattern does add something, and I feel like if it was removed, it would feel a little emptier. But I don't know I don't know if that's the best application for me personally.
How do you feel about like kind of like the physics of it? Like I feel like a skull, all the weight's in the kind of like the back, right?
Oh,
and then for it to be held, so like let's say this is my like this is a skull, let's say, right?
yeah.
You wouldn't hold the heavy weight part of it just on the fingertips. It's got to be in the palm of your hand almost. Like I just feel like the physics are off a little bit. Maybe I'm nitpicking it too much, but I just feel like
I think you're right.
It's not like
right.
If like let's say you're holding a ball, you're not holding a ball up here.
True.
You're holding a ball in the cup of your hand, and all the weight of it would kind of make it rest down. You're not holding it here, you know?
Yeah. I think you're right. I think I wouldn't have noticed that just because I like the design. I'm satisfied with it. That, yeah, technically that would be unbalanced, but if you put it back further on the hand, then it's going to get
You'll lose a lot.
Thumb, and then you lose that negative space. So
yeah,
I think it's super forgivable for me personally.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I like that.
It is an interesting concept, though. Like this kind of cyber biotech.
Yeah, it's not like a recycled theme that we see. It's like original, you know?
Yeah. Super long fingers.
Yeah.
But I might be just nitpicking. All right. Number 8, keeping score.
This is adorable.
Yeah. No one does. Well, I mean, not no one. There's not many people now that score baseball games like this anymore, but it's a cool throwback for sure.
Yeah. But let's look at the silhouette. It's awesome. I mean, down to you can see the arm of the glasses going off the edge. So nailed that. Yeah, I don't think I like the colorway that much. The blue and yellow.
Yeah.
I think I'm sure Casey could come up with something that just is amazing. But I really like it. I like it a lot. Maybe those eyes, the little highlight in the eyes is going to come out weird when it's embroidered. So maybe something bigger or solid or something. But yeah, it's super cute. I like it.
I love how the hat he's wearing turned into like an eraser. I
love
pink. That little thing. I almost would wish he just made a pink button to kind of match that. Maybe just use a little bit of a darker yellow, that kind of like a HB2.
Orangey one.
Yeah, like just a tiny bit of almost like a goldish yellow would help it. I think a little bit. But yeah, it's fun. I like it. It's cool.
Yeah, it's great. Just change up the colors of the hat, and then I'm wondering, because he's got the little pencil mark, I wonder what it looked like if it just sat right under the tip
Yeah, right on the
instead of, because he's looking at it, he's like stopping and posing, but he's also in midair. It's like
hovering. Yeah,
and then he stopped right there.
Yeah. You think this hat? I keep everything the same, but just change the blue. Maybe switch it out for like a green would work, or even maybe like a chrome white potentially.
I'm gonna be honest. I have no clue what to change to. I know I like the art. That's the important part.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. All right. Good job, Jay. We got bubbles.
Ooh.
So this one's interesting. It's trying to create that kind of chrome effect that you guys had for that rocket balloon. What are your thoughts here? How did he do?
I love the colors. I really do. I love the application of it. I think silhouette wise, I think we could throw a flipper out so that it's
on the bottom.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't think we need to see the one on the other side and just have it come down. And then, I don't know, the bubbles are interesting because it kind of, I'm just looking at the balance of the design in general. I think if we had some bigger bubbles, and because we have bigger and smaller, but let's make it more dramatic, big and then really, really small, you know? Mm-hmm. And then also how we use them, we can have them like coming off of the tail. So it almost looks like he's coming out of the water.
Out of the water, yeah.
The bubbles are kind of like the trail that's left behind. But I love the colors. I like it a lot. I think there's like little tweaks that could make it be like, yeah, there it is, you know?
Yeah. It's a cool attempt because we never really see anyone kind of try to capture like the colors of a bubble, you know? So it's like a cool attempt. I initially thought it was like a chrome thing, but like now that it's saying bubbles, it's all the colors you'd see in a bubble. So that's a cool thing.
The only thing is that if it was like a bubble, it has all these beautiful colors, but it's also see-through. So part of me wants to maybe change the cap color so that it looks like a color you would see
through it. Yeah,
some of those like a different shade, or you probably don't want to put black in there, or it'd be like a dark gray or something. But
gray, yeah.
So you could probably change it just enough so against the cap color it would look transparent as well.
Yeah, get that translucent kind of effect. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah,
I'm with you. The bubbles are cool, but like they're just placed kind of awkwardly. Yeah. So like use it as if it's use it to create that motion that he's jumping. So you kind of have him at the bottom. That'd be cool, little tweak. But good job, Rafael. Number 10. Oh, Easter Hall. This was cool. So at the end of last week's episode, I threw out a challenge for the Clinkers. Yeah. And this was the first one to come back. So Seamus kind of has this kind of like Scarface Easter bunny with negotiating almost like on a poker table. He's just got it stacked up. I love the carrots turning into a chip. I like everything about this. This is so cool. I didn't expect anyone to do the challenge, and shout out to Mike for doing that. I think Heather had one too late last night, but this one made it to Clink Room, to the Critz, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's super fun. I mean, I get it, you know, and I love that carrots are so important to rabbits. They're like a form of currency. That's hilarious, almost. Yeah. The only thing that's bugging me is the back of the chair. It's the black with the light gray.
Yeah.
Part of me wants to say, I mean, he's probably going for the Godfather thing, so it probably looks like that chair. But part of me just wants to lower it and have the ears be in silhouette because they're drawn so well. And then just have the chair just be right above his shoulders, and you could still have that ornate design. Because I think just that black and the light gray just kind of distracts just a little bit. But now that I'm noticing that, he doesn't have any outlines on the face. And so that black acts as the border. But he's got it on the arm, so he could move it down.
Yeah. Or even could shift the chair so he's just kind of sitting to the side. So it's kind of like the side of him maybe.
Yeah.
Kind of help you. I do like how it's culminating in like that golden egg there.
Oh
But
yeah.
yeah.
The
This
other
was
thing
also
too
go ahead.
is if you look at these stacked carrots, you
Hmm.
can tell those are made with like an ellipse tool digitally. But then right next to it is the face of the rabbit, and it's got these tiny, thin, careful lines everywhere. That now the carrot just feels big and bulky, you know. So maybe take the top line and just thin it out so it's thin on top, thick on the bottom, or something like that.
Give it a little extra depth too. Yeah.
Yeah, just style wise, it kind of because the face looks amazing, and then the carrots kind of look rudimentary in comparison to it.
Yeah. This is so cool. It's so
Yeah,
interesting to see like the idea get thrown out and then just the art applied right away. This is
yeah,
all like a weird idea that for me, like the egg prices are soaring. So like, what the heck is the Easter Bunny gonna do? So it was a cool thing. Shout out to Mike for doing that. All right,
yeah.
number 11, Galaxy Frog by
Ooh,
Heather and Soundwave. They got together for this one. What do you think?
this is cool. This is really cool. So do we have the eye? Sorry, the moon in the left eye,
It looks like some type of planet. Yeah.
and then a regular eye, and then oh, that's got a lot in there. I like that. I would make the nostrils black to match everything because if you squint, they kind of just go away.
Hmm.
It's interesting. It feels a little vampire-y with the teeth and the
Yeah, I think they're drawing inspiration from like Emperor Palpatine a little bit.
okay, but he didn't
Yeah.
have buck teeth, did he?
No,
He
he
didn't have
didn't.
fangs. Uh,
No, I mean that's the original Muse, and then they kind of made it their own.
yeah,
You know.
I like it. I like how there's stars in the top of the hood that make it feel like it's translucent or it's kind of a hologram or something. And the colors are really interesting. I like them. I'm not sure about the orange underneath the brim. That might be for me personally. I don't know if I'd want to wear that color, but
Yeah.
I think it has a lot going for it. And again, it feels like something you haven't seen before, which I
Mhm.
like. I would maybe, if they're going for fangs, they nailed it.
Yeah.
If they're going for a creepy smile where the bottom lip touches, then for me it's reading as fangs. So you maybe make it clear it's fangs or give them a creepy smile. But yeah, I like it. It has a lot of teeny details in that right eye, though.
I always feel too like if you're wearing a hood, like if you're wearing a hood, I almost would want or expect some of the face to be kind of obscured or in shadow a little bit. But yeah, it's a rad piece. Um, I don't love like the literal names sometimes, like oh Galaxy Frog,
Yeah.
like but yeah, it's a cool
But
piece.
then you got to go back to remember when you're wearing this in public, no one's going to
No
go,
one's
oh,
gonna know.
is that Galaxy Frog? They're just going to
Yeah,
like it, or
yeah,
they're not gonna be drawn to it.
exactly. All right, moving forward. What do we got here? No trespassing. So CBS Inc. It's got the kind of Yeti, which the Yeti is kind of a hot topic down there in Utah right now for the hockey team. The cooler company blocked the hockey team from using Yeti name.
Oh,
Um,
did they?
yeah, yeah. So no trespassing. What are your thoughts here?
Hmm. I was talking about how I'm not good at doing that big blocky shadowy line, and this one does a really good job of it.
Hmm.
So I'm envious of that already. Um, Looking at the design and looking at the name, and then seeing like the bubbles makes me think I don't get the bubbles. Is it?
I
Is he?
think it's just scream like spit, like
Oh, I would have done them like yeah. That's not that important though. I like it. I like the perspective. I like the angle that they chose. I feel like things are getting too lost in the side of the mouth. Like you're still seeing some of those teeth, so the
it's
light's
almost too
hitting it.
many teeth. Yeah.
But then you need to like show another highlight of brown hair around there somewhere because it feels just too open right there. And then with the iris, the pupil, because he's angry, I would not make that a perfect circle. I would have like at least squashed the top of it
Yeah,
so
when
you
you're
feel the
screaming.
weight. Because yeah, the weight of the line width would have like covered that up a little bit.
I feel like it's like an interesting silhouette. So like it kind of reminds me a little bit of like the Nashville Predators, kind of like that sideways, or even like a lot of NFL logos are just kind of sideways
Mm-hmm.
facing angry
Mm-hmm.
things. But I almost would wish it had a little bit more, like maybe a little more tilt, a little bit more motion, where it was
Yeah,
instead of just like a flat head, he's kind of just
like he's like lurching forward, like
yeah, and there's like this kind of like kinetic energy flowing out from the screen. I think it's just missing that little piece. It's a little too static for me. Because if
mm-hmm.
he's screaming, he's gonna be, reaching forward or like
Yeah,
really getting out there. He's not gonna be screaming from up here. So I
yeah,
think like just that little tilt and just giving it that little
and then
um
drop the jaw back even further.
yeah, exactly. I
That's a
think
good suggestion. And I'm color wise, I'm not in love with the green overall.
I feel like the
Just
lime green hurts it.
possibly.
Yeah.
I think you could do well. The thing is, it's like you could pick like a colorway of like orange and blue or yellow and purple or whatever. And so like the fur and the skin color are very literal.
Hmm.
But I think this would lend itself to like you could do some crazy fun colorways and just pink skin and like a dark purple hair, and then let's just do it. Beat root around the outline or
Hmm.
whatever. But yeah, because I just don't wear green ever. But that's just me.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, this could turn into something like where it just pops. You're like, oh, I feel the force of that yell and everything.
Yeah. Like that I think that kind of skier-ish colorway I'm seeing, like a sky blue, purple, blue, um
Mhm.
like kind of like a sky blue, navy, purple with like beetroot highlights could be kind of working with like that kind of Utah jazz-ish kind of
Yeah.
almost feel.
And this
Um
this was probably like, okay, we'll just do, these are the colors of it, and it's usually in a forest, so we'll do green,
mm,
But it doesn't necessarily have to be that. You
yeah.
could have some
Well,
fun.
we've seen a million Sasquatches in this colorway kind of from the Eugene Emeralds, because they actually have like that kind of Sasquatchy um, mascot. But yeah, it's a cool piece nonetheless. Good
Mhm.
job, Chad. Number 13, we got Design with Jake, but chill.
Hmm. It's interesting. I like the vibes.
Yeah,
Um,
he's almost got monkey feet almost.
yeah,
Like the feet
yeah.
almost don't match. Like one's got the extra
Mhm.
piece, and then the other one looks like just like a fist.
Yeah, and the toe size on the one doesn't match the toe size on the other.
Hmm.
They're somewhere thinner.
It's a cool piece.
Silhouette wise, I feel like it's good in the top and that hand on the knee and bottom, but coming around, I don't know. Wonder if you block that all out, even the flowers, if it would be like a little more confusing. I don't know. They're so light. You probably, if you just read that from across the room, you probably wouldn't include the flowers in the silhouette. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's like a rad piece. It's cool, but yeah, it's a little confusing. Is he hanging off a tree? If so, the tree's not feeling any weight to it. He's on such a thin branch.
Yeah.
Is he sitting down on the ground?
Hmm.
Um, the tree a little bit gets lost within the frog because it's the same color
Yeah.
too. But I
Yeah.
mean, they do camouflage, so I mean that's part of it. But
Yeah.
I think it's drawn nice, but it's just kind of confusing.
Yeah. It just needs some refinements, I think,
Yeah.
like line thickness, like some of that curled up foot has some thick lines, and then like if you look at the stem that comes out under the elbow, it's like really really thin. It's not that far off, but
No.
and like the other hand that's going like this, the wrist is kind of confusing.
Hmm.
But I like the vibes. I'm not crazy about the colorway. It almost feels like mint ice cream to me, like or like the brown and the pink and that green feels like almost like a type of ice cream flavor or something, like Neapolitan but with mint. I don't know. It's just me.
Yeah,
Maybe I'm hungry. I don't know.
yeah. Definitely,
But I
definitely.
think it's got potential. I think um, Yeah, and then the silhouette wise, let's move that flower that's making contact with that eye on the left. You know,
Yeah.
it's interesting, and I think the colors could be improved somehow. I'm not sure about that golden yellow color. Again, maybe that's what it is in real life, but we don't have to do it. We see in real life. We can have fun with it.
Yeah, yeah, I'm with you now that I'm seeing it like this. Like the cap is really pastel, and then the frog is really bold, and then and almost like the flowers are completely different colorway too. It's not
And then the
synchronizing right.
red of the eyes as well is thrown in there.
Yeah, it's not like synchronized. It's not working well together. So
Yeah.
maybe eliminate the brown some way somehow because it's not even in the design at all.
Yeah, it's true.
The mint almost works against the green, almost washes it out too. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's drawn cool. It's drawn nice.
Yeah.
It's got personality.
It's close.
Yeah, it's
for
close.
me. It's close
For sure.
Yeah.
All right. Number 14, Soundwave with the treble clef. So I guess making reference to the treble clef in music.
Interesting.
This one will embroider real cool. I think.
So
the textures of it, like it's flowing.
So I see a music note. I
Mhm.
see an anchor, and then I see a snake.
Yep, and some barbed wire.
And camouflage, which altogether it's a little confusing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, barbed wire too. Huh. It's interesting. I don't know if it needs all of those elements. Like it's got a lot going to like music and snakes. Is it because it's trouble, like a snake is trouble?
I think the treble is like the pun treble clef.
Yeah, instead of trouble.
Yeah. I don't know what the link to all of the things are though. I have no clue.
Yeah. I don't know either. And then
it's like almost a weapon too. It's got the jagged.
Yeah.
Edges.
And part of me just wants it to sit a little bit more because it feels like it's just like a regular treble clef is, more straight up and down. This is the angle, but I don't know if it needs to be. Oh no, wait, no. Oh wait, I'm seeing another thing. Okay. So on the left-hand side, going down, it's got these looks like little fists or spikes, or what is that?
It's almost like the saw edge almost.
Yeah, like teeth on
like a jagged. Yeah. I'm not sure.
I think this needs to be edited down to just a couple ideas.
And then the thing at the end of the chain almost looks like a shark tooth too.
Shark tooth, or the end of like a dragon's tail.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've got anchor, music, snake, dragon's tail, barbed wire, saw teeth, camouflage. So
it's a lot. Yeah.
He's like, one of these is gonna hit. Come on. Yeah, needs some editing, but it's a really good silhouette. I mean, instantly I went music note, anchor, and then the more I looked at, the more I saw. But yeah, good silhouette.
For sure. All right. Good job, Zach. Number 15, and Nancy the Spider by Giddy 47.
Interesting. Okay. Spider, tribal mask, and then I see the African continent on the head.
Yes. Yeah.
But then I also see Christmas colors, red and green.
I think that's like the Pan American kind of colors, the green, red, black, maybe.
So wait, did Pan America steal it from Christmas, or did Christmas steal it from?
When Africa came first.
I personally will never wear a spider on my head because it's just creepy.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't like spiders. So, yeah, I don't know that just says that colorway just says Christmas to me. So Christmas and spider, probably not for me. What do you think?
Yeah, so they posted a reverse where it's green, like this. It's the red would be flipped with the green essentially on the crown, and then the outline. So
Mhm.
this is a Black History Month submission inspired by the African folk hero Nancy the Spider. I don't know too much about that character, but it is kind of cool. I always feel like the spider too. I feel like when it spins the web, it's the other foot that kind of feeds through, right? I feel like.
Yeah, yeah.
So I almost feel like the feet are backwards, but it's an interesting piece for sure. That African continent is gonna be really hard
To see.
to execute. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
And I almost feel like the four eyes at the bottom of the spider need like a little highlight on the bottom.
mm,
Even just that, yeah, just something.
yeah. So reading about it, Anansi the spider is a trickster figure from West African folklore, often depicted as a spider, prominent character in West African, African American, and Caribbean folklore.
Hmm.
Cool. I mean, he gets lost by walking and is threatened by fish and falcons. He has 6 sons, each given a special talent to save him from danger. That's cool. Yeah.
That's a pretty big story for a spider. That's impressive.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a good silhouette, but it's too spidery for me.
Yeah. It's a cool piece for sure. All right. Moving forward. 16 Faded Flavor, green one.
Okay. Yeah. Not until I saw the title did I get it. The zebra stripe gum, which just the flavor fades like within like 30 seconds.
Instantly.
Yeah. I love the colors. I love fluorescent colors. I feel like there's a lot of nice line work and detail in the zebra, but then there's like so little in the bubble.
Hmm.
I want more highlights, translucency. I don't know, something, but yeah, I like it.
Yeah. I love anytime we can use like this kind of Volt green, action green.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, yeah, the zebra's cool. It's got a lot of motion to it. Like the hair's flying out. I feel like it's a little bit of an abrupt ending there,
yeah,
but if
yeah.
if all what we're going for is the zebra head, then I don't know. I would just study like kind of horse silhouetted logos like you see a lot, like maybe like a Denver Broncos, kind of like figure out how they kind of twist and end their horse at the bottom. I just feel like that kind of that
Yeah.
chop there is a little unfinished, but
But
yeah.
maybe she was also trying to make it look like the zebra on the gum package too.
That's why. Okay.
I mean, I can't remember it perfectly right now, but yeah, I
Mhm.
think the bubble gum the bubble needs a black outline. If the character's got a black outline, then it needs a black outline too, because it looks like two separate elements.
Yeah,
Yeah. It'll just marry them together if they have the same line work.
for sure. Fruit stripes. Yeah. Man, this take me back.
They still sell it everywhere.
These yeah, most of these like super colorful gum flavors, like tense double bubbles, another one,
Yeah.
just 5 minutes maybe. You get out.
And then-
you're either adding to it or spitting it
Yeah,
out.
exactly.
New one. So,
You're like, come on,
yeah,
hit me again, pop another one in
Yeah.
until your jaw's sore and you've done the whole
Sore.
pack. And you're like, I made a huge mistake.
yeah, exactly. But all right, cool
I
job,
like
brother.
It's fun.
Number 17, we got the Stalker.
Mm.
And Milosh and Todd Maisie got together. Hard to see if it's a tiger. This is probably a tiger, right? Not a panther.
Or a panther,
Yeah,
because it's all black. It's probably a panther.
yeah,
I think it's probably supposed to be hidden and you're just seeing a hint of it and being like, oh, there's something back there, you know?
right.
Yeah. I like the different shades of leaves.
Mhm.
That the ones closer to us are brighter and then they get
Brighter.
darker as they go back.
Yeah,
And then the only one I'm not crazy about is the vine on the right, the bright vine, because Yeah. Okay, I see some more back there. It's just a little distracting, but it's pretty cool. It could be really awesome when it's embroidered with all those layers of different leaves, you know?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting piece. Good job, Milosh. All
Yeah.
right, number 18, manateed off. Um,
Okay.
on the reel though, it is very depressing to see manatees with like huge like scars or even
Oh,
cuts from the boats and stuff. But he's getting his revenge. He's pissed. He ripped the motor right off and was ready to hit you with it. But what do you think of this Josh Foles piece?
silhouette wise, I want to see the top of that dipped more and bring his arms up more because he doesn't look like he's about to swing. He looks like he's just kind of holding it, like he's quietly going over to where he's gonna take it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't even see that pink as like scars or cuts, maybe because it was pink and not red.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of sad. I
Yeah.
think it would be cool if it was, I don't know, just the motor, like if the bottom part came through the silhouette of the animal, well, more, but I don't know if that would make it too big, but maybe you could curl them up and do something.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
It's cool, like a revenge story. He's
Yeah, and I like the eye direction. Like we were saying with some others, if you don't get the eye direction, it doesn't work, but this one works.
yeah. All right, getting towards the end. Number 19, best buds. What are your thoughts here?
I like it. I instantly get it. It's like a dad and a son, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't like how they just get chopped off. You know,
Yeah, like it's like a really
taper
abrupt
off.
ending.
Yeah, have it taper off in streams, like just coming to points or something like that, or something. And then if you're going to add the little action lines at the top, put them at the bottom too. You know, that little,
That little bump.
yeah. And I would do them a little differently. I would have it be more comic booky, where it's like a fine point and then it comes up like this. Those kind of look like little grains of rice.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
again, nitpicky. Yeah, I totally get it, even without the title. I get it. But yeah, just the abrupt ending on the wrist is not for me.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I'm with you. It's a little too sharp.
Mm-hmm.
There. I don't know how we express that, but all right.
Concept.
Number 20, Kid Kong, Heinz,
Nice.
and Sierra. I love the trike look, man.
Yeah, it's on the old big wheel. And this is a pretty good silhouette too. That hand on the left coming out like that really works well. Yeah. Don't know if I want a yellow under visor.
No, I want to avoid all yellow visors if possible.
Why is that?
I just feel like people with like a really light complexion, like you get like a super bright like outline, just doesn't it doesn't sit well with people with like light complexions. Like you kind of just, it kind of reflects almost too much off of the skin.
It's true. Yeah, this is good. I like it a lot. It's super fun. The trike is drawn accurately. Got no problems with it.
Mm-hmm. Got the speed lines working in the correct direction too.
Same colors as those things used to be. I like it. I don't know if it needs the lighting. So if you look at his hand, he's got two different shades. His face, his feet, his stomach. I don't know if it needs that, you know. But that's just tiny, tiny details. I like it. It's fun. Yeah.
All right. Cool. So last week I left everyone with the challenge. I can't really think of anything like super like on point like the Easter stuff coming out. So I will leave everyone with three kind of punny kind of animal clink things. So open challenge, whoever wants to take it. If not, no big deal. But I'm gonna leave people with lobster roll. So lobster on roller skates. maybe kind of serving almost like a fast food thing, maybe like some type of like motion. We can kind of play with that. Octopi, so maybe a scholarly octopus holding a bunch of pies on each tentacle. And then the last one I'll give away is Giraffic Jam. Super tall giraffe kind of stuck in traffic looking super annoyed. Like maybe like in a maybe he's stuck in a car, or his head's out of the sunroof maybe. But yeah, those are your 3 challenges for the week. Lobster roll, octopi, Giraffic Jam. Take it for what you want. Free concepts for y'all. But
you know, those are fun.
Yeah.
You get a percentage of the sales if it goes through though, right?
No, never. Let the artist keep it all. Just we're here for the culture. We're here to try to make Clink better any way we can. And yeah, no money for me. Artists, you keep it. So any thoughts before we go? This was so cool. I did not know that you were involved with the embroidery. Yeah,
I've been doing that for a little over a year now.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I really enjoy it. And it's fun to like come up with creative stuff like that. Of course, you know, Casey can change it if he wants to, but you know that one that's up there now with the bear hugging California? In the bottom, it has the outline of a flame, and that has, you know, it's filled to the end. So I've come in with embroidery and added more lines of flames. So it's
cool.
Yeah, it's fun. It's super creative. I'm glad I get to do it.
I love that for you. All right. Well, until the next time you get back here and teach everyone how to do lighting properly, I'm super excited for that. I appreciate you forever for kind of launching this kind of series. I had it in my head, like, how do we, now that I've kind of almost done like a full lap and kind of interviewed the majority of I didn't get everybody, but you know, and anyone who hasn't been on, you know, you're welcome to come on as a Clinker, open invitation. But I was kind of trying to find like a unique way to kind of bring everyone back, because it's been over a year since you've been on, and time is just I guess as you get older, like it just goes by so much faster.
Doing what it does.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, January was a whole 76 days too, I feel like. But now that we're in February and kind of, you know, just kind of got past Christmas and New Year's and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I'd love to have some of the people that came on already just kind of come back and kind of refresh and just see if anything changed. But yeah, I love catching up with you. And I thank you so much for putting that together.
No problem. I enjoyed it. It's funny because it's like sometimes I see things, I'm like, oh, it's such a good concept, and then the votes are low, and I'm like, if they just change the pose a little bit, and then I'm like, I don't want to send somebody a message and be that guy. It's like, you know, I can tell you why your thing didn't go through, you know. But then I was like, what if we just did a general, think of it this way, or try this, or remember this. And then we're not singling anybody out, but hopefully people can be like, oh, I could solve it this way, or remember that, you know?
Exactly. No, I appreciate you. Hopefully the other Clinkers appreciate it too. So hopefully this will be a start of something cool. So now the new masterclass series within Sundays with the Clink Room. Just always just trying to find different ways to kind of improvise and give you guys a little bit more content. So this has been awesome.
And we do have a lot of designers who are really good at specific things, and it'd be cool to hear them break down, oh, this is how I come up with this. And you're like, oh, you know. So I think it could lead to a lot of good learning.
Exactly. All right. Perfect. For Ryan and Leon, we're out of here, guys. Peace.
See ya.
Eternal damnation. You're at the end of the world, as you know it, my dude. Time is up and you out of mood, so what will you do? It's the BP mercenaries not here to